Let's get into some things of the things, child. We got some stuff to talk about today, honey. We got some stuff to talk about. Hit that like button. If you are new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We have a great time over here. You meant what you said when you said it. Really be expected, because I don't be understanding y'all sometimes. And when y'all know when I say y'all, you know I'm talking about y'all. You know I'm talking about y'all. Makes me that all these people that got something to say have been actively involved in the political process in their world. I don't believe it. You ain't gonna convince me. I know y'all love me. What's up? What's up? What's up? Happy Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth. I told you guys yesterday to do something black today. Honey, do something black. So I hope that y'all were out today being blackity black of the blacks black. Okay. I spent my Juneteenth getting my hair braided. That is black. Okay. That is black. Okay. What's up, everybody? Hey, Chuck, lovely Nola. What's up? Hey, Lolisa. How are you? Hope you are well. Finally able to catch a live, baby. Life has been life, and I'm sure. I hope you are well. Rock Chick. Hey, Powerful. B-Lo. Tawana. What's going on? Don. We're going to close them doors in a few minutes, okay? Don is here, so y'all know what that means. What's up, Nay? Crystal. What's up, Shay? Montrez. B-Lo. Shay. Thank you. Thank y'all. It doesn't hurt. It does not hurt. What's up, nephew? Hey, Shay. Anybody I missed, charge it to my head, not my heart. It's Felicia Rashad's birthday too. Well, happy birthday to her. Thank you, Chanel. Yeah, the braids actually, they do not hurt. I mean, they you know, the average of what you would get, but they're not, yeah, they tight enough, but now when she was a couple of them braids in the front, when she was braiding them, I was like, ooh, but they don't hurt now. And probably, that's another reason why I like the lady that braids my hair, because I don't have those issues. Like, I've had braids before that I've literally had to take out my head. So she's pretty good. Okay, not pretty good. She's really good and fast. So, and professional. All right, you guys. So listen, we're going to talk a little bit about the latest chapter in the crazy life of Wendy Williams. Now, we don't need to we do not need to rehash all that has been going on with Wendy Williams over the last couple of years. We know that a couple of years ago, it seemed like out of nowhere, Wendy Williams was put under is conservator correct term? I don't want to say the wrong word. If it's the wrong term, put it in the chat. Thank you, Uncle. Excuse me. Thank you, Uncle Jay. Thank you, Boo. And ever since then, this thing has been a crazy roller coaster of what is going on with Wendy Williams. Was this a violation? Is she being taken advantage of? Is this legitimate? Does she have medical issues that have led to her being under a conservator? Does she have people in her life that is taking advantage of her, i.e. her son, i.e. her ex-husband? Management. Like, it has been a lot. And it's been up and down. You know, there was a documentary, and I've done multiple lives over here as it relates to what's going on with Wendy Williams. So the latest though is yesterday I was minding my business. I literally was taking a nap. Okay. And my girl Tracy, y'all know how Tracy does. Tracy is the one. Tracy literally sent me a text and was like, check your email. That's how she lets me know she done sent me something. Baby, I didn't even know nothing about this lawsuit because I was taking a nap. Okay. I pulled it up. I said, what in the world? So it looks like Kevin Hunter or Kelvin Hunter, whichever, because sometimes I think Wendy calls the man Kelvin, sometimes it's Kevin, but whatever. Kevin Hunter has filed a $200 and something million lawsuit, federal lawsuit, against everybody. I mean, the list of people he's suing, and I'm not exaggerating, it is literally like this long. Like, okay. You see, I can see both my hands like this long. He is suing everybody from Wells Fargo to all the lawyers to her former manager to child. Right. I thought Kelvin was his name. And I had Kelvin in the title, then I changed it to Kevin, but I thought Kelvin was his name. Right. Thank you, Don. So we're going to read through some of this lawsuit. We are not reading the whole lawsuit. It's 122 pages. We're not doing that. And then we are going to hear what Wendy Williams has to say. I'm going to wait till I read through some of this lawsuit. And then I'll give you guys my opinion. I did set a goal. I believe I set a goal. If we hit the goal, I can drop the link for a few minutes. But if not, it's all good. It's all good. We'll be tonight is the Whether You Like It or Not Miami Real Housewives of Miami panel. Oh, thank you, boo. Child. Hold on. Oh, shoot. Okay. So let me share the screen and let's get into this lawsuit. I forgot. I just realized I forgot to respond to something. Okay. Thank you, DeMarcus. Happy Juneteenth to you. What's up, Cajun? Hey, boo. Let's share the screen, honey. Let's get into this lawsuit. Again, we're not going to read the whole thing, child, because first of all, it took me I'm on page 21 already, and I'm just getting to the statement of facts because y'all know these lawsuits, we got to go through all the other stuff. And we are just getting to, that's on page 21. We're still not reading through probably about 70, 80 pages. We ain't doing that. But we're going to get to the gist of the things. All right. Can y'all see this? All right. Hey, Chuck. Hey, boo. Or are you talking to somebody else? Mm-hmm. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Let's get into it. So let's get into the allegations, you guys. I'm going to just show y'all what I meant when I said he's suing everybody. Let me go back to the top for a second. So this Wendy Williams, an individual by and through her next friend, Kelvin Hunter, and Kelvin Hunter, an individual. So he has Wendy Williams' name on this lawsuit. It's filed through the Southern District Court of New York. Y'all, can I show y'all? Do y'all see all these people he's suing? Can y'all see this long list of people he's suing? So it keeps going. Those are all the people that he is suing, y'all. Those are all the people that he is suing. So, and he has her name on here as if he has her permission to file this lawsuit. So I don't know, child. But let's talk about it. Facts alleged in support of all causes of action. Wells Fargo, acting through Lori Schiller, froze Ms. Hunter's bank accounts. Notice how he's using Ms. Hunter. Notice how he's using Ms. Hunter. Wendy Williams' professional name has always been Wendy Williams. She has never publicly, professionally taken that man's last name. Now, I ain't saying what she did privately, but publicly, she has never taken that man's name. But okay, let's keep going. On or about January 18th of 2022, without prior notice to Ms. Hunter, this abrupt and unexplained action denied Ms. Hunter access to her secured credit accounts, assets, bank records, and personal finances. It disrupted Ms. Hunter's obligations under legally binding settlement agreements and triggered legal exposure due to mispayments. Now, listen, that's important right here. The legally binding settlement agreements, that is what listen. This my opinion. This my opinion. That's what he mad about. Because remember, under their divorce and the termination of her show, Kevin was actually still getting paid. I don't know all the details, so don't ask me. I don't remember all of the legal details, but he was actually still getting paid under stuff dealing with they divorce and stuff like that, right? That is the part that I think Kevin cares about. Now, from my understanding, let me be clear. From my understanding, let me say that one more time. From my understanding, Wendy met all of her financial obligation to her ex-husband. From my understanding. Now, I know that Kevin sued the producers of the Wendy Williams show, and he did all these other things to try to get money. But from my understanding, Wendy didn't owe Kevin any more money. So even if they froze the assets illegally. It should not have affected him, but this is the part that I think he cares about. Okay. And triggered legal exposure due to missed payments. 2 days later, and without Ms. Hunter's knowledge or consent, Dr. Rami Kaminsky authored a 2-sentence medical opinion letter dated January the 20th of 2022. We've gone over that letter. That letter was posted on social media. So you guys, we've gone over that letter. Falsely asserting that Ms. Hunter had impaired judgment and was incapable of making reasoned decisions. Dr. Rami sent the Kaminsky letter to Lori Schiller at Wells Fargo. True and correct copies. Okay, yeah. Okay. Of the complaint against Dr. Rami Kaminsky to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Office for Civil Rights, and the New York State Department of Health and Professional Service. And we saw when Wendy did file an official complaint. Now that we've seen that. The Kaminsky letter did not provide the basis for the medical opinion, i.e. medical testing or comprehensive evaluation of Ms. Hunter. Reference consultations with Ms. Hunter's treating physician or cite relevant medical records or studies to provide a more complete understanding of her condition. And then they've attached a copy of the letter. Now, let me say this to y'all. On that part, I do not disagree with Kevin. I don't disagree with Kevin. Now, sir, I still don't think this is your business. But on that part, I don't disagree that letter was for Gazy. And we did talk about that over here. We did a live about it. So moving right along. Prior to Dr. Rami Kaminsky's authoring of the letter, Lori Schiller authorized 6 payments of $10,000 from Ms. Hunter's Amex card, totaling $60,000 to Dr. Romansky between November the 7th of 2021 and January the 14th of 2022 without Ms. Hunter's consent. The sum paid to Dr. Kaminsky represented a gross disparity in Ms. Hunter's routine medical expenses with licensed specialists, which averaged approximately $200 per visit. This discrepancy raises serious concerns regarding the purpose and justification of the payments. True and correct copies of Ms. Hunter's Amex statements, which have been redacted in evidence. That's Exhibit C. Upon information and belief, Lori Schiller leveraged her position at Wells Fargo, made self-serving statements alleging that Ms. Hunter had instructed her to do whatever it takes to go scorched to earth if Lori perceived that Ms. Hunter was being exploited. These fabricated instructions, which were known only to Lori Schiller, formed the cornerstone of the justification of the Wells Fargo filing of his guardianship petition, helping to conceal the true basis for intervening in Ms. Hunter's affairs. Further, Wells Fargo and Lori Schiller conspired with Dr. Kaminsky to utilize the Kaminsky letter as the primary basis to initiate a guardianship proceeding under Article 81 of the New York Mental Hygiene Law against Ms. Hunter. Even though Ms. Hunter was regularly seeing other healthcare specialists, none of whom raised concerns about her mental capacity, no consultations or evaluations from these providers were obtained. These providers were also not consulted regarding Ms. Hunter's mental capacity or physical fitness prior to Wells Fargo initiating the guardianship proceedings. Because Wells Fargo froze Ms. Hunter's bank accounts, Ms. Hunter was forced to sustain her livelihood exclusively through the utilization of her Amex cards. With full knowledge of this precarious situation, Lori Schiller suspended Ms. Hunter's Amex privileges without cause and without Ms. Hunter's knowledge or consent. Now, listen, let me tell y'all something. I'm going to just keep reading. Let's keep going. Amex, acting at the direction of Wells Fargo and Lori Schiller, unlawfully restricted Ms. Hunter's access to her own credit accounts, effectively disabling her from managing personal and business affairs. Further, as a direct and unavoidable consequence of Lori Schiller's wrongful and torturous conduct, and not because of any animosity or dispute between plaintiffs, Ms. Hunter was compelled to initiate a post-deposition relief motion in the Superior Court of New Jersey. This legal action was necessitated by the defense's interference with financial obligations arising from Ms. Hunter's divorce. Hold on. interference with financial obligations arising from Ms. Hunter's divorce, forcing Mr. Hunter to seek judicial intervention for relief. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. Basically, now y'all tell me if I'm reading that wrong. Y'all let me know. It's 78 of y'all in here now, and I know that the 78 in here, y'all love me. So tell me if I'm reading that wrong. That sound like because of her financial situation, Kevin wasn't getting some money that he thought he was owed or that he was owed. Is that what it sounds like to y'all? That Kevin wasn't getting some money he was supposed to be getting. And then it said he had to file paperwork. That's what it sounds like to me. Okay. On or about February 4th of 2022, after failed attempts to access her accounts and speak with Amex representatives to resolve the matter, and after not receiving any communication from Wells Fargo or Lori Schiller regarding the basis of the same, Ms. Hunter filed for emergency injunctive relief in New York Superior Court to enjoin Wells Fargo from interfering with her right to access her financial assets and statements. True and correct copies of Ms. Hunter's petition, which was filed February the 4th of 2022, and then that's Exhibit D. Ms. Hunter retained counsel on Wells Fargo employees Dennis Schmidt and Beverly Jo Slaughter is attached here. That's Exhibit E. On or about February the 9th of 2022, Judge Arlene Bluth signed Ms. Hunter's emergency petition and issued an order to show cause, directing Wells Fargo to explain by February the 15th of 2022 why a temporary restraining order and preliminary injunction should not be granted. This action by Judge Arlene Bluth signaled judicial recognition of the urgency and legal sufficiency of Ms. Hunter's claims. However, Wells Fargo failed to comply with the court's directive and never responded to Ms. Hunter's emergency petition. Instead, Wells Fargo filed an ex parte Article 81 guardianship petition on or about February the 9th of 2022, relying almost exclusively on the Kaminsky letter. Wells Fargo failed to personally serve Ms. Hunter or her counsel of record, and Ms. Hunter was not given an opportunity to respond prior to judicial action. What y'all saying over here? Oh, okay, y'all agreeing with me? Okay. Okay, let's keep reading. We're going, like I said, we're not going to read through this whole thing. I think we're getting the gist of it. In a letter to Judge Arlene Bluth dated February the 9th, David Picus, on Wells Fargo's behalf without a motion or proper application supported by specific legal grounds, requested that the case be sealed from the public. Judge Adam Silvera approved such request on or about February the 14th of 2022. The day before Wells Fargo was to respond to Ms. Hunter's emergency petition per Judge Arlene Bluth's order, without allowing for Ms. Hunter to have a hearing on the matter and without giving Ms. Hunter retained counsel an opportunity to object. A true and correct copy of Ms. Hunter's retained counsel letter to the judge. Okay, that's Exhibit F, child. He got them exhibits, honey. On or about February the 14th, Ms. Hunter's emergency petition was also reassigned to Judge Lisa Sokoloff, at which point the legal irregularities and obtuse central to this complaint, abuses central to this complaint began to unfold. It should be noted that the court proceedings pertaining to Ms. Hunter's emergency petition are still active. So if this is still active, sir, why are you filing a lawsuit? If this is still an ongoing situation, why are you filing this? And again, that's Exhibit G. Upon information and belief, serious questions arise concerning the impartiality and propriety of the assignment of Ms. Hunter's guardianship proceedings to Judge Lisa, the manner in which a sensitive matter was designated to Judge Lisa, because I ain't gonna keep saying her name, prompts inquiry into whether this assignment was a result of a fair and impartial random selection process, or conversely, if it constituted a targeted designation designed to achieve a predetermined outcome adverse to Ms. Hunter's interests and rights. So basically, was this judge purposely put over Wendy Williams' case because we know that judge is going to do what we wanted her to do? Mm. 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 On the exact day that the parties were notified via New York Southern, was that Southern District? Well, NYSCEF. The judge, Lisa, was assigned to preside over Ms. Hunter's emergency petition and hearing was held for the guardianship proceeding, which Judge Lisa also presided over. A true and correct copy of Judge Adam Silver's transfer order dated February the 14th, filed February the 16th, sealing Ms. Hunter's emergency petition against Wells Fargo. That's Exhibit H, baby. And Ms. Hunter's emergency petition and its sealing are attached. That's Exhibit I. Child, we up to Exhibit I. And we only on page 25. Following the initiation of the guardianship proceedings, Dr. Joseph Rodriguez of Superior Medical Centers in Western Florida wrote a medical opinion letter, and we went over that letter as well. Ms. Hunter, which directly contradicted the alleged findings, stated in the Kamansky letter a true and correct copy, and that's Exhibit J. During the February 16 hearing during the February 16 hearing of 2022, Judge Lisa effectively barred Ms. Hunter's retained counsel, Miami Entertainment Law Group, from filing papers or appearing on Ms. Hunter's behalf in the guardianship proceeding, denying her the fundamental right to counsel of choice. Additionally, without confirming whether Bernie Young was lawfully retained and authorized to speak to Ms. Hunter's finances or even qualified to manage her financial matters, Judge Lisa, Wells Fargo, Lori Schiller, David Picus relied on Bernie Young to verify or validate financial payments obligations on Ms. Hunter's behalf. So Bernie Young was supposed to be paying Wendy's bills, I guess, but I guess the court never verified if that was actually happening. That's what that sounds like. Ms. Hunter retained counsel and made every effort to advocate on Ms. Hunter's behalf, but their efforts were thwarted by Judge Lisa, David Picus, Linda Radesky. Who the hell is she? Philip Solomon, Sabrina. Okay, all these people. And I'm sure all of these people are named in the lawsuit. Despite Ms. Hunter's retained counsel filing a notice of appearance in the guardianship proceeding on or about March the 17th of 2022, Judge Lisa instructed the parties not to share any filed documents with Ms. Hunter's retained counsel. Because of this, Ms. Hunter's retained counsel was left in the dark with the inability to advocate for Ms. Hunter's best interest. True and correct copies of those email exchanges between Judge Lisa and the parties from March the 18th, March the 28th are attached hereto as Exhibit K. Judge Lisa gave these instructions to the parties prior to making a determination as to whether Ms. Hunter retained counsel was chosen freely and independently. Alleging that Ms. Hunter's chosen counsel was unable to represent Ms. Hunter's interest in the guardianship proceeding, Judge Lisa appointed counsel of her choosing, Linda Radesky, who would become yet another figure complicit in the ongoing abuse. Despite Judge Lisa's stating that a further conference would be scheduled if Ms. Hunter's retained counsel had an issue with Linda appointment, Judge Lisa administratively silenced Ms. Hunter's retained counsel from voicing their concerns. Telling Wells Fargo and Linda Radesky are financial contributors to Judge Lisa's reelection campaign. Upon information and belief, each made contributions to the judge. Campaign efforts at the time in the Article 81 proceedings against Ms. Hunter took place. Ooh, that don't look good. That does not look good. Y'all donating to her reelection campaign while all this is going on. Lisa Radesky failed to challenge the court's jurisdictional outreach and lack of jurisdiction, did not demand an independent evaluation, and did not seek to reinstate Ms. Hunter's chosen counsel on her advance directives. Oh, Lord. Attorney Salami, one of the attorneys brought in by Ms. Hunter's retained counsel to assist her, representation, failed to advocate for Ms. Hunter and instead acted in concert with other defendants to perpetrate the guardianship for financial gain. Attorney Salami failed to challenge the court's jurisdictional outreach and lack of jurisdiction, did not demand. Okay, he ain't do nothing either. Okay, we get it. He ain't do nothing either. A comprehensive medical evaluation conducted in or around March of 2025 determined that Ms. Hunter was alert and competent. However, neither Sabrina Morsi, Linda Radesky, or Attorney Salami have filed a petition to terminate or modify the guardianship. Unbeknownst to Ms. Hunter, she ultimately funded her own imprisonment as a result of the defendants misappropriating her funds without her consent to engage medical and legal professionals to petition for her to be stripped of her rights under a fraudulently opposed guardianship. If y'all remember, that's the same thing that happened to Britney Spears. Y'all remember when Britney Spears was trying to get her guardianship terminated? Come to find out, when she sued her father was using her money to defend himself in court against her petition. So that's not, I'm not saying that makes it okay, but we talked about that with Britney Spears. Thank you, Nay. Happy cancer season. Yes, cancer season. Thank you, boo. Not Attorney Salami. I'm hungry now. What up, JB? Thank you, boo. Ciao. Lori Schiller alleged that she was unable to communicate with Ms. Hunter for months prior to the Wells Fargo guardianship petition being filed. However, Lori Schiller continued to make payments using Ms. Hunter's funds at her personal discretion, including paying $60,000 to Dr. Kamansky and writing $21,077.26 to Bernie Young and his company, Bernie Young Entertainment Enterprises, LLC, while failing and or willfully refusing to satisfy other debts owed by Ms. Hunter, which, based upon Lori Schiller's statement, were all actions taken by Lori Schiller and Wells Fargo without confirming with Ms. Hunter whether any incoming invoices or outgoing payments were or were not legitimate and authorized. A true and correct copy of the December 2nd Wells Fargo transaction notice, which has been redacted, and that is Exhibit L and also Exhibit C. So looks like they were paying some bills, but they were not paying all of Wendy Williams' bills. And some of these bills they were paying are questionable, like the bills to the doctor, okay? Bernie Young, who was hired as a pseudo manager for Ms. Hunter by Deb Marr, engaged in unauthorized financial activities using Ms. Hunter's funds. Now, Deb Marr is who owns the Wendy Williams show. That is the production company that owns the Wendy Williams show, okay? On or about January the 10th of 2022, Bernie Young used Ms. Hunter's Amex card to pay Abrams Festerman, LLP, for $10,000 for legal services to file a guardianship petition against Ms. Hunter. Huh? File a guardianship petition against Ms. Hunter. So they used her own money to file a petition against her? Huh? Again, without Ms. Hunter's knowledge or authorization. Abrams Finsterman, LLP attorney Carolyn Wolf acted as counsel to Bernie Young in connection with Bernie Young guardianship cross petition, which Carolyn Wolf filed with the court on March 11th of 2022, and which Judge Lisa also presided over, evidencing the unauthorized $10,000 charge by Bernie Young to Ms. Hunter's Amex card, true and correct copies. Okay, so that's Exhibit C again, and Exhibit M. Bernie Young also instructed or permitted his employee, Leah Abram, to misappropriate Ms. Hunter's funds for expenses that Ms. Hunter did not authorize. Leah Abram was provided access to a separate Amex card attached to Ms. Hunter's account, giving Leah Abram access to Ms. Hunter's funds. Despite lacking any professional relationship with Ms. Hunter, Leah Abram used the card with Bernie Young's knowledge and Lori Schiller's full awareness for various expenses with unknown purpose. So how many Amex cards do you have, Wendy? This is crazy. This is crazy. In defiance of internal policies and regulatory rules, Wells Fargo neither followed its own elder abuse protocols nor notified the financial industry regulatory authority or any regulatory body about its suspicion about Ms. Hunter being financially abused. A true and correct copy of Ms. Hunter's FINRA complaints against Wells Fargo and Ms. Schiller, which outlines each direct violation, is attached here to as Exhibit N. All right, let me pause right there for a second. So for those of you that are coming in late, because we've got some people have come in since I've started doing this live. We are reading through Kevin Hunter's lawsuit that he filed on behalf of Wendy Williams. That is outlining all the things that Wendy Williams did wrong, allegedly. I mean, that Wells Fargo and the other people did allegedly against Wendy Williams. I'm not going to read the whole lawsuit because it's 120 some pages long, but we're going to read enough of it to get a gist of what's going on. And then we're going to talk about Wendy Williams' response to this. And if we hit our goal, I will drop the link for a few minutes. Okay. If we hit our goal. So we got 2 super chats already. Thank you, Chanel. Thank you, Benji Nay. Thank you. Thank you so much, my love. Kevin, sir, we don't see it for you. Listen, I'm going to read a little bit more, and then I'm going to tell y'all, like I said, I'm going to read a little bit more. What page are we on? We on page 30? Well, we on page 30. I'll read a few more pages because, again, I'm not reading 120 pages. We're not doing that. It's actually probably not 120 pages because with as many exhibits, if this has exhibits attached to it, probably the last 20 pages is exhibits. Let me see how far this goes. Oh, I was on page 29. Okay, let me see how far this goes. Oh, no, we on page 50 and he's still talking. Okay, hold on, wait a minute. Oh, no, we're not. Hold on, that's count 3. Let's scroll up. Hold on, let's get to where they start count 1. That'll tell me how many. Oh, we might be able to read through the whole thing, y'all, because that was count 3. What's that? That's count 2. Oh, hold on, y'all. We might read through the whole thing. Hold on. Because that's where does count 1 start? Okay. That's another 10 pages. Let's see if we can get through these 10 pages, child. Let's see. Oh, Jesus. Be offense. Okay, let's see if we can get through these last 10 pages. Okay. Because we were at the bottom of page 29. So, okay. All right. Okay. All right. In defiance of internal policies and regulatory rules, I just read that. Okay, so we are on page 30. All right. Not once did Wells Fargo or Lori Schiller or a concerned party report suspected financial abuse to Adult Protective Services in Florida, where Ms. Hunter resided at the time. Because Wells Fargo was a financial institution operating within the state of Florida, Lori Schiller also violated state law by failing to report her suspicion to the Florida Department of Children and Families Sexual Abuse Hotline. To ensure control over Ms. Hunter, to weaken any objection by Ms. Hunter to Judge Lisa imposing the guardianship, defendants engaged in a concerted effort to erode Ms. Hunter's trust in her son, and alienated their relationship. Now, remember that information came out where Wendy said that her son stole money with that it's 260 pages with the exhibits. Oh, okay. Thank you, boo. Thank you, Don. Remember that information came out where allegedly the son had somebody impersonating Wendy and was trying to get money out of the account. Remember that information came out a few months ago, and Wendy even alluded to the fact that her son was trying to get money out of her as well. So he's addressing that here. He's saying the defendants engaged in a concerted effort to erode Ms. Hunter's trust in her son and alienated their relationship. Now, again, my red flag is going on. It's going off. My red flag is going off. I'm going to tell you why my alert is going off. My alert is going off because I personally, my opinion, Really BTV's opinion, I personally always felt like the thing that triggered this was people trying to get into Wendy's account that wasn't supposed to get into Wendy's account. That's my opinion. And I felt like it was the son via Kevin. So it's interesting here that Kevin is saying, oh, they lied to Wendy to try to mess up her relationship with her son so that she didn't trust her son, i.e., when the son was coming to her trying to get money, making her think that the son was taking advantage of her, and he really wasn't. Now, that's my opinion. I don't know none of that to be a fact. I don't know none of that. I'm just saying, I feel like, because here's the thing. Let me finish reading, and I'm going to tell y'all. Okay, let me keep going. At the time the guardianship petition was filed, Ms. Hunter had a valid Florida power of attorney prepared and executed in accordance with Florida law. These documents designated Ms. Hunter's son, Kevin Hunter, to make decisions on her behalf at the event of incapacity. And then they have that is Exhibit O. On or about March 11th of 2022, without notice to Ms. Hunter, Judge Lisa suspended Ms. Hunter's Florida power of attorney and healthcare directive without a jurisdictional analysis. This non-judicial action was taken in clear absence of jurisdiction and without any findings of incapacity or procedural safeguards. Upon information and belief, serious questions arise concerning the impartiality and propriety of the assignment of Ms. Hunter's guardianship proceedings to Judge Lisa. The manner in which this sensitive matter was designated to Judge Lisa prompts inquiry into whether the assignment was the result of a fair and impartial random selection process. You already said that. Okay. Wells Fargo and all these other people vilified Ms. Hunter's son, Kevin Hunter, telling Ms. Hunter that her son was fraudulently accessing her accounts. Interestingly, at no point was the misappropriation of Ms. Hunter's funds by Wells Fargo and all these other people shared with Ms. Hunter. Despite being a beneficiary of Ms. Hunter's estate plans and an extended heir, Kevin Hunter was cut off from financial support and personal communication with his mother, causing lasting harm. The actions of the defendants, including Sabrina Morrissey's withholding of payments and Lori Schiller's misrepresentation of account status, constitute intentional interference with familial association and negligent infliction of emotional distress. Defendants' actions have resulted in financial and reputational harm to Ms. Hunter and Kevin Hunter. Wells Fargo and Lori Schiller were aware of Ms. Hunter's intention to purchase a residence in Miami for her son's continued housing while pursuing higher education. When Ms. Hunter was seeking to retain a real estate agent for the purchase, Lori Schiller advised Ms. Hunter that she knew a real estate attorney that she could retain on her behalf to assist with the buying process, which Lori Schiller did. Baby, they just know it. They know a little bit of everybody. They got a doctor that can evaluate Wendy. They have a real estate agent that can help Wendy buy this property. They have a person that's going to help Wendy. Who was Bernie Young. They got all these people that can help Wendy. They just conveniently got all these people that's going to help Wendy. However, because Wells Fargo initiated the guardianship proceedings, they froze Ms. Hunter's accounts and the guardianship was subsequently imposed. Ms. Hunter lost her down payment on that property. Her purchase was voided and the purchase was converted into a lease, which went unpaid by Wells Fargo, Lori Schiller, and Sabrina Morrissey. So again, the specifics that they're talking about is Wendy agreed to buy a house for her son while he was in college. Remember, her son was living in that expensive ass condo. So now Wendy agreed to buy a house for the son. I bet you Kevin was going to live with him. Thank you, lovely 31. AP said, whether we agree or don't agree with Kevin's antics, he is the one that keeps the ball moving on Wendy's confinement. I don't know if that's Kevin or not, but I hear you. However, I just read that. Okay. Due to defendants' mismanagement and their refusal to honor pre-existing obligations, including those previously paid by Lori Schiller and known to Wells Fargo, Kevin Hunter was evicted from his residence in Miami, which Ms. Hunter intended to purchase outright for his continued housing while pursuing his higher education, on 3 separate occasions, resulting in extreme emotional distress, interruption of his academic pursuits, and reputational harm within his professional and social communities. True and correct copies of the publicly filed eviction court documents, and that's Exhibit P, chat. Beginning on February 2022, a coordinated and coercive campaign to silence and isolate Ms. Hunter was executed through judicial orders and extrajudicial acts, depriving Ms. Hunter of access to counsel, family communication tools, and the ability to control her own narrative. Exhibit H. Let me see. Silence and isolate was excused. Okay. On behalf of on or about March 23rd, 2022, Wells Fargo filed a motion seeking to seal the guardianship matter and enjoin Ms. Hunter's privately retained counsel, Miami Entertainment Law Group, from representing or even communicating with her. Shortly thereafter, Ms. Hunter's phone was remotely altered, her counsel's number was deleted from her contacts, and Miami International Law Group's phone number was blocked, effectively severing her direct access to legal representation. This is some crazy shit. So they done blocked her attorney's phone number from her phone. Thank you, Yana. Child. Thank you, Hibiscus Rose, for the super sticker. Child. Wait a minute. So they done blocked her attorney, allegedly blocked her attorney's phone number from her phone and cut off communication with her. Wow, this is crazy. On or about April the 21st of 2022, Judge Lisa issued an order prohibiting Ms. Hunter's use of computers, tablets, and other electronic devices. Why the girl can't? She's not a girl, she's a woman. Why that woman can't use a computer? That's crazy as hell. On or about July the 27th, Judge Lisa issued a further order curtailing Ms. Hunter's access to regular telephone service, effectively placing her in a near total technological isolation. These restrictions were imposed despite the absence of any adjudication of incapacity and without affording Ms. Hunter an evidentiary hearing or an opportunity to contest those life-altering restrictions. The silencing campaign escalated on or about June the 1st of 2023 when Judge Lisa issued a judicial order authorizing the public release of Ms. Hunter's private medical information, including the announcement of a diagnosis of frontal dementia, frontal temporal, dementia, without her informed consent. This order also retroactively authorized HIPAA waivers, waiving Ms. Hunter's fundamental privacy rights. Upon information and belief, the release was strategically timed and intended to support a media narrative reinforcing Ms. Hunter's alleged incapacity, thereby foreclosing public sympathy or legal scrutiny of the guardianship. Simultaneously, Ms. Hunter's communications with her family and friends were tightly controlled. Phone usage was limited, and visitors, including her son, were required to obtain prior approval from Sabrina Morsi. Permission was frequently denied or delayed without explanation, further reinforcing Ms. Hunter's social isolation and dependency. The weaponization of familial relationships ensured that no one close to Ms. Hunter could challenge the guardianship or assist her in asserting her rights. Adding insult to injury, defendant used Ms. Hunter's own funds to retain management and public relation agents who William Shelby and Sean Zanotti, who disseminated the narrative that Ms. Hunter was incapacitated and thriving under court supervision. These efforts were not for Ms. Hunter's benefit, but were calculated to mislead the public, insinuate the guardianship from criticism, and suppress the truth of Ms. Hunter's unlawful confinement and exploitation. These acts collectively reveal a pattern of deliberate silencing and concealment and coercion imposed through judicial imprimatur and carried out by agents of the guardianship enterprise. All right. Damn it. Why does my phone keep ringing? Y'all, hold on. This is my mama. Hold on. Hello. Yeah, what's wrong? Okay, thank you, mommy. I'm home. Bye. Child, I guess we about to get some really bad storms. My mama said, they said on the news, tell everybody to go home because the storms are coming. They're going to be really bad. Child, my mama is a mess. Okay. Oh, y'all were telling me to mute. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Thank y'all. I couldn't get to thank y'all for letting me know. Thank y'all. Okay. On or about March the 15th of 2022, 4 days after suspending Ms. Hunter's valid power of attorney without due process, Judge Lisa issued an order appointing Sabrina Morsi as temporary guardian with plenty of control over Ms. Hunter's financial accounts, medical decisions, legal matters. All right. I feel like a lot of this is starting to get repetitive now because we already talked about this. Hold on. Because we're almost at the end. It sounds like it's starting to be repetitive now. Now they're saying that they forgot to make payments. We already talked about that. Ms. Hunter's counsel, tax concerns and effort to meet Gary Press. Okay, that's Exhibit Q. Oh, it looked like she owes taxes because they didn't pay her bills. I guess they didn't file her taxes in a timely manner. Okay. Sabrina Morsi has disposed of a substantial portion of Ms. Hunter's property, including selling her New York City condo on or about May 10th of 2024 at a loss exceeding $1 million. Sabrina Morsi, acting in her capacity as guardian, willfully refused to disperse funds from a 529 prepaid college fund established by Ms. Hunter for the explicit purpose of covering her son's college-related expenses, including housing. We back to this boy's housing for college. Excuse me. This refusal to honor Ms. Hunter's pre-guardianship financial planning and intent created severe uncertainty and distress for Ms. Hunter's son, causing him to experience significant. I feel like they just cut and pasted this because we really read this. Sabrina Morsi has sold a vast majority of Ms. Hunter's personal items, including but not limited to priceless artwork, jewelry, luxury designer handbags, and high-valued apparel, which were previously placed in storage due to the sale of her real property. Wow. Child, they sold her cats. Sabrina Morsi also sold Ms. Hunter's beloved rescue cats, Chit Chat and My Way, without Ms. Hunter's knowledge, isolating her from the much-needed companionship and emotional support. Child, they sold her cats. Upon information and belief, Sabrina Morsi retained William Selby to be Ms. Hunter's handler, including a monitor. Ms. Hunter's involvement in the Lifetime docuseries and other media activities. Okay. On or about January the 10th of 2010. 2010. William Selby entered into a mortgage agreement with Wells Fargo that he purchased in New Jersey on or about September the 12th of 2022, which is around the same time that Sabrina Morsi retained him to be her manager. Wells Fargo issued a discharge of William Selby's mortgage, indicating that the debt had been paid in full. Lord, so you mean to tell me that allegedly they used Wendy money to pay off this man's mortgage from 2010? Baby, that's Exhibit R. I'm with you, Don. We might need to see some of these exhibits. Upon information and belief, Wells Fargo's discharge of William Selby's mortgage was in exchange for being Ms. Hunter's handler. William Morsi also directly retained and or approved the retention of Sean Zanotti to serve as Ms. Hunter's publicist, despite Judge Lisa barring Ms. Hunter from engaging with the press. Yeah, if she can't talk to the press, why she need A publicist. Wow. Upon information and belief, Sean Zanotti spearheaded the production of the Lifetime docuseries, and we know how that turned out. Despite lacking the authority to do so, William Selby and Sean Zanotti engaged Ms. Hunter to appear in the Atlanta Women Expo on or about May the 20th of 2023. They also retained a portion of the payment that was received in relation to this contract, with which Ms. Hunter never performed. Wow. This is crazy. All right, y'all, we at the end. After Sabrina Morsi sold Ms. Hunter's New York City condo, Sabrina Morsi unlawfully confined Ms. Hunter to multiple facilities, including but not limited to Corte, which is a high-cost senior living facility that provides memory care against Ms. Hunter's will. Sabrina Morsi and Cortery, I think it's Cortery, have repeatedly invaded Ms. Hunter's privacy, exploited her vulnerable condition for financial gain, and isolated her from friends and family. A true and correct copy of Ms. Hunter's New York State Department of Health complaint against them is attached. That's Exhibit S. All telephone calls and visits with Ms. Hunter, including those from legal counsel, are subject to monitoring and approval by Sabrina Morsi or her designee. These restrictions violate Ms. Hunter's constitutional rights and further isolate her from her personal support. Amanda Clears, an employee of Cortery, serving as Ms. Hunter's care specialist, photographed Ms. Hunter in a state of undress without consent, disclosed Ms. Hunter's location to third parties, and sold or attempted to sell images and information to media outlets. Despite being found by healthcare professionals as competent, Ms. Hunter remains under a plenary guardianship and is being involuntarily confined, despite evidence of capacity, a lack of necessity, and multiple procedural and ethical violations throughout the guardianship's establishment and continuation. And then it gets into the causes of action, and that's just where it's listing out all the things that they're saying is wrong and the case law to support it. Let me scroll up a little bit. Lord, not another lawsuit? Damn! Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Sheesh. Not so we can. So now you just sent me a super chat to ask about the fact. Chat. Hold on. Okay. Hold on. Let me. Hold, please. Let me look at this deck. What the hell? What the helly? What the hellion? Fat Joe lawsuit? Sheesh. What he being sued for? Fat Joe sues ex-hype man for claiming he is a sued him for defamation. Jesus. Chat, y'all. Yeah, I can't keep up. Yeah, I can't keep up. Hold on. Hold, please. Sheesh. Oh, gosh. Okay. Oh, Jesus. Is that what it is? Is we in a recession? Jeez. Oh, Tracy said she just sent it. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Hold, please. Why is it not showing up on my phone? Hold on. Let me look. Let me look on my email because it's not coming through on my phone. Let me check my email. Thank you, Tracy. Child, maybe it's that storm coming through because it ain't coming through on my I can't. It's not. My email's not coming through. Let me refresh my page. This is a mess. Well, while we doing this, let me give y'all my 2 cents on this situation. If we can ready transition into Fat Joe, child, because let me give y'all my 2 cents. Tracy, it didn't come through. I just refreshed my page. But it must not be you because the last email I got was at 2:00. And I know I've gotten an email since 2:00 this afternoon. The way my emails be coming through. Here it is right here. All right, I got it. But Lord, be trying to read it off my phone. Good. Oh no, I can't do this. I can't read this off my phone. Oh no, no ma'am. I'm gonna need to come through on my. It's gonna have to come through because there it is right there. Okay, I just got it. I don't know why it took so long for it to come through. Let me give y'all my 2 cents on this. Let me give y'all my 2 cents on this. Kevin Hunter thing. Thank you, Tracy. So Wendy said, let me tell y'all what Wendy said. Okay, and then I got 30 minutes to get into this Fat Joe situation. We can change the title and the thumbnail and all of that. Give me 30 minutes. I got 30 minutes before we got to head over to El Teddy's house. But let me just tell y'all what Wendy said. Wendy has said, baby, Wendy said, don't put me in this. Wendy said, this according to TMZ. Now, we know that, what's his name? The TMZ guy is helping Wendy. He's helped her retain an attorney. He's helping her. So if it's coming from TMZ, I have faith that this is really coming from Wendy because TMZ is literally helping Wendy Williams. Okay. Wendy Williams is dragging her ex-husband for filing a lawsuit over her guardianship on her behalf. She says she wasn't involved and didn't know about it, but says it's no surprise given his money-grubbing history. The former talk show host called into our morning meeting Thursday and told Harvey Levin straight up, she has nothing to do with this $250 million lawsuit that Kevin filed this week in New York. Wendy told us that Kevin is just making a desperate money grab, and she has no clue how her name ended up next to his as a plaintiff on a federal lawsuit. As we reported, yada, yada, yada. Wendy Williams' attorney, Joe Tacopina, also unloaded on Kevin, telling us Kevin's got no standing here and Wendy doesn't need help from him. Now, here's what I'm going to say. This is how I feel. I feel like a lot of what's in this lawsuit is probably, there's some validity to what's in this lawsuit. Do I think that Wendy Williams is caught in a trick bag? Because there are a lot of people, unfortunately, I feel like there are a lot of people that are taking advantage of Wendy. And I do feel like there's some funny money going on here. I do. But I also feel like Wendy Williams has an attorney that she has retained on her behalf that has filed a lawsuit. And I think you confuse the courts by filing all these different lawsuits. And then he put Wendy's name on it, which I don't know how you feel like you have jurisdiction to do that. You're not her current husband. You're not her guardian. And she just made it very clear that she didn't ask for your help. Now, do I think that there's a lot of stuff in that lawsuit that's valid? Yes, I do. But I also think that Wendy has her own set of attorneys that is handling it to the best of their ability. Right message, wrong messenger. Exactly, lovely Nola. Now that's my 2 cents on that. Baby, let's get into this Fat Joe. I'm gonna have to change the title. Okay. And I gotta do the thumbnail. But thank you, Tracy. Now, y'all know I don't know nothing about this lawsuit. I think I do, but I don't. Shall not. I'm so sick of Tyrone Blackburn. I'm so sick of him. All right, let me share my screen, child. Let me share my screen. Child. Ooh, gotta chill. Oh, Lord. Here we go. As you guys can see, this is a Joseph Cartagena, which is AKA Fat Joe, is suing Terrence Dixon and Tyrone Blackburn and Tyrone Blackburn Law PLLC. So as you guys can see, there's that. Y'all know it's the introduction. Then it gets into jurisdiction, the parties involved, and jurisdiction. Okay, this is what we care about, the factual background. And this is 116 pages, baby. We're not reading it. We ain't got time for 116 pages, but we're gonna get the gist of it. This is the factual background. Here's the gist of it. I'm just say Fat Joe because don't nobody know him by this name. Fat Joe is do we have to get into that? He's a Bronx. His music career began in the early 1990s. Yada yada. He's known. We know. Okay. He's also a successful entrepreneur. Yeah. Okay. He did all of the things. He's a philanthropist. Oh, great. Yes, he's done all those things. Okay. In late September of 2023, Fat Joe visited the Eagle. Okay, he's still being a philanthropist. Okay. Speaking engagements, great. And I understand why they're doing this, you guys, because this is a defamation lawsuit. So they're laying the background about how these lies can be affecting him for the financial piece of it. But for the purposes of today, we get it. Fat Joe's done great things. Okay. After years of working, at various times from approximately 2006 to 2019, Dixon acted as a hype man for Fat Joe, assisting him on tours and concerts. In exchange for these services, Fat Joe compensated Dixon handsomely. For years, their arrangement worked well and without issues. Some 4 years later, however, Dixon, in a blatant money grab, began to attack Joe in order to attempt to monetize on his fame and good reputation for his own benefit. In 2023, Dixon initiated a campaign of public harassment against Fat Joe by making and publishing countless defamatory and false statements on his public social media accounts, including his Instagram. And they put his handle here. This pattern of conduct is unfortunately par for the course for Dixon. He has repeatedly told even members of his family that if they did not stop working with Joe, he would put false information about Joe out on social media and would take all of Joe's money. In June of 2010, Fat Joe performed in Wisconsin. Following a show, a fan made allegations of inappropriate touching. Within hours, he was cleared of any wrongdoing, as explained by his attorney. Quote, Fat Joe had no contact with and never spoke to his accuser. He was questioned for a few minutes at his hotel room and was never detained by the police, end quote. For his part, Dixon never complained to Joe about the supposed horrific acts that he witnessed. In fact, the inappropriate touching allegation was made against Dixon. Was made against Dixon, not Joe. Nevertheless, and knowing that his statement was false, on June the 17th of 2023, Dixon posted a screenshot of a 2010 CNN News article on his Instagram account entitled Rapper Fat Joe Question About Sexual Assault in Wisconsin. Dixon's post featured a picture of Joe with the following caption. At Fat Joe, this RAPE charge was on you. I know the story and I will go into full detail. That's Exhibit C. You know what? I'm going to put a pin in there right there. I blame all of this on Diddy. I blame all of this on Diddy. Cassie done came down here and blew the roof off this shit. And I'm not saying Cassie was wrong. Let's be clear. I'm not saying that Cassie was wrong because clearly it has been proven in court that Cassie was violated by that man. But what I'm saying is everybody thought, oh, this is about to be a quick payday. That's what everybody thought. Everybody thought Cassie done came down here and got paid. Everybody about to get a quick payday. That's what they thought was about to happen. Let me keep reading. Dixon again accused Joe of RAPE later that day, posting at Fat Joe, Milwaukee was scary and it was your fault. Should I go into detail? Question mark, question mark, question mark. On October 2023, Dixon sent a series of extortionate WhatsApp messages to Joe's manager, sent him a fake picture of a news headline that said Fat Joe statutory RAPM victim revealed, RAPE. Dixon threatened, I guess this is what he sent. It says, this is what the newspaper is going to look like. Wow. His daughter is going to be real proud of him. I think that's supposed to be his daughter. Is going to be real proud of him. I'm going to tag Jordan, Nike, CNN, I don't know what that word is supposed to be. The president and vice president, every major outlet will have this now. Think about it. This just one. Sir, Mr. Dixon, I need you to spell check before you send out threats, because I'm sure this is a direct quote from what you sent Fat Joe's manager. Sir, this don't even make no sense. There's no period in this sentence. There's no comma in this sentence. This says, sir, this don't even make no sense what you sent this man. And why would the president are you talking about the president and the vice president of the United States? Why the hell would they care about Fat Joe? Why would they care about Fat Joe? On the same day, Dixon ominously warned, I just heard thunder. Look at the sky. It's getting dark, y'all. All right, y'all, I'm going to try to get through this as fast as possible. If for whatever reason my power does go out, y'all just know what it is. And let me put a pin in that real quick. And don't leave no comments in my messages if you're looking at this on the replay, talking about how dare you talk about somebody's grammar and you mispronounce words sometimes. You know what? Sometimes I do mispronounce a few words while I'm reading through these lawsuits, because I be seeing these lawsuits for the first time, okay? And they be using these big SAT words sometimes. So don't come for me, and I will not come for you. But he had a chance to spell check before he sent this shit. Moving right along. On the same day, okay, I just read that. No. The countdown is on. Tell the fat man, be smart. I warned him before. And that Joe got it fucked up. I get it. Joe didn't get... What? Hold on. And the quote, Joe got it fucked up. I get it, Joe. Didn't get it yet. I'm the predator. Joe's the prey. Sir, I can't even take this seriously. That's Exhibit F. Dixon doubled down on his false allegations of sexual assault in December of 2024. YouTube interview in which he falsely accused Fat Joe of sexually assaulting a woman in Wisconsin by placing his hand up her skirt. This better not be on what his name, where all the people go down and do the interviews. This better not be what's his name, y'all? The guy that the rappers they tell all Boozy do an interview with him every week. Y'all know who I'm talking about. What's that culture vulture? The white man. Well, he's really Russian. Y'all know who I'm talking about. It better not be his YouTube. Dixon knew that these statements were false. Fat Joe never assaulted anyone. Authorities never charged or detained him in connection with any allegations in Wisconsin and cleared him of any involvement shortly after speaking with him. Rather, Dixon attempted to resurrect a decade-plus-old false accusation and headline to support his campaign of harassment and extortion. Dixon's statements escalated later in 2023, despite desperate to harm Joe. Dixon accused him of being a pedo. These allegations were again false, in which Dixon knew when he made them. August the 31st of 2023, for example, Dixon posted about Joe. He said, quote, little Joey, end quote, stating Lil Joey doing this pedo dance when he bags another 16 years, Exhibit H. See, I can't even take none of this seriously. Vlad, that's him. DJ Vlad. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. DJ Vlad. Mm-hmm. Yep. You say we're getting dumber listening to this. Baby, I am too. We're gonna read a little bit more on September, because similarly, September the 13th of 2023, Dixon posted, at Fat Joe, you asked me, do I take any accountability? Yes, I do, for watching you mess with underage girls, but I was minding my business. Stop moving around in the streets like you wasn't messing with underage girl. And you're again, he called him a pedo. Dixon further attempted to tarnish Joe's professional reputation and connections by explicitly tagging him, his business connections, in his defamatory post. For example, Joe is the president of Urban and Latino Development of maybe that's who the vice president he was talking about, of Market America and Product Brokerage, an internet marketing company. On December the 6th of 2023, Dixon posted about Joe tagging Market America's Instagram account and writing, does Market America know they have a pedo as they spokesperson? Dixon's abhorrent of defamatory conduct continued through 2024. On May the 23rd of 2024, he posted about Joe saying Lil Joey was dating and having sex with a 16-year-old girl named Nikki, aka Chiquita, and had a full-fledged relationship with her for 5 years. On June the 15th, he sent Joe's manager on WhatsApp stating, tell Lil Joey I got something he's afraid of, just when y'all thought he was untouchable. He instructed manager to tell your man this will end it all. That's Exhibit M. September the 20th of 2024, Dixon posted a picture of Joe, Sean Diddy Combs, and DJ Khaled to his Instagram stating, hashtag Fat Joe, Nikki was underage when you flew her across state lines and out the country. I told y'all this all Diddy fault. Didn't I tell y'all this all Diddy fault? On October the 1st of 2024, Dixon posted to both his Instagram and his Threads account saying, quote, Fat Joe had a full-fledged relationship with Nikki who was underage. And Fat Joe knew Dre was having sex with the underage girl because Joey was the guy telling him, calm down, we're going to take care of it. Exhibit O. Now, I don't know who the hell, I don't know who Dre is. I don't know who Dre is. That's Exhibit O. On December the 28th of 2024, Dixon posted to his Instagram account a post accompanying images of Joe with the following caption, hashtag Fat Joe, Milwaukee was scary. That girl wasn't lying. And this happened in Wisconsin. Joe was being a thirsty ninja and almost got us locked up for hashtag sexual assault. The caption is accompanied by 4 headlines. It's officially over for Fat Joe. Fat Joe investigated for SA. Fat Joe's ghostwriter, T.A., the legend, and Fat Joe, former employee, finally speaks out. Exhibit P. Beyond the false allegations of the PDF, NSA, Dixon also falsely claimed that Joe underpaid him for his services and did not credit him for songs he allegedly wrote. For example, on March the 17th of 2025, Dixon published a story to his Instagram account accompanying the headline of a video titled, Fat Joe Calls Gongu Roach a Liar. The story stated, you have a very long history of stealing and robbing people. You stole from Pun and his family. You settled in court to pay Lisa Rios $2.3 million, not counting the rest of the money you stole. Exhibit Q. Now, I have heard that Fat Joe did Big Pun and his widow wrong when Big Pun died. Now, I did hear that. Is this the same guy that's been going around saying Fat Joe stole that lady money? Because he also alleged that Fat Joe physically assaulted that lady, I think. Or that Big Pun physically assaulted his wife. Somebody physically assaulted. Is this the same guy? On March the 18th of 2025, Dixon posted to his Instagram Threads account, hashtag Fat Joe. Don't ever forget who kept you breathing. I wrote this for your homie. Dixon also published defamatory statements on April the 13th of 2025 interview on the Off the Hooks podcast. On the podcast, Dixon falsely alleged that Joe underpaid him for his services and did not credit him for songs he allegedly wrote. Dixon publicly published these statements on his social media accounts and in interviews knowing they were false. He plainly intended to humiliate and defame Joe, harm his reputation, and coerce him into paying Dixon millions of dollars that Joe did not owe. Dixon also attempted to pressure Joe by humiliating him and his wife. On January the 22nd of 2025, Dixon asked the manager to tell Joe, "I'm going live to talk about that threesome his wife had. She's a nasty scumbag. You know that, right? Your boss is a sucker." What is going on? In another Instagram post, Dixon tagged Joe's wife and stated, "You really don't care that this safari grass bag..." I'm sorry, y'all. Hold on. He said, "You really don't care that this safari grass back 3-inch pink slimy king jerk chicken spider path ass was cheating on you so much that never even gave it a shot of being faithful. You don't care that he lived in the whorehouses. You don't care. You know what I witnessed him getting his ass eaten. That ninja is out of control. I got something special. Do you want it?" What is wrong with these people? What is wrong with these people? What the fuck? Yeah. This not funny, but it's funny. I'm not going to read that whole part again, but I'm going to read this first part again. You really don't care that this safari grass, first of all, what the fuck is safari grass? Back 3-inch pink slimy king jerk chicken. And he even has an emoji of a chicken. Do y'all see that on the screen? It's an emoji of a chicken. Spider, and it's an emoji of a spider. Path ass. What is safari grass? Dixon even tagged Joe in a post and it said, @FatJoe, should I blast one name off that your wife cheated on you with, or should I wait to go into full detail? It will hurt you. She's a beast. Dixon made countless other posts attempting to belittle and humiliate Joe. Many of these posts superimpose Joe's head on another person. Y'all, I cannot. Do y'all see this? Do y'all see these pictures? Hold on. Are they big enough? Y'all, I am not. I cannot. What is wrong with these people? What is wrong with this? Sir, who hurt you? Frustrated by his inability to overcome Joe's resolve, because it sounds like Fat Joe was just ignoring him all this time, Dixon upped the ante by hiring Blackburn to shake Fat Joe down. But Blackburn is no ordinary... They about to drag Tyrone. They about to drag him. But Blackburn is no ordinary lawyer. He is an extortionist masquerading as a lawyer and a cynical ruse to use the court system as both a sword and a shield for his unethical conduct. Blackburn's gambit has not gone unnoticed. Just over a year ago, in April of 2024, this is when he was admonished by the court. We've talked about that. Okay, so now he dragging Tyrone, and we listen. Tyrone Blackburn is known to us. We are not new to Tyrone Blackburn. Okay. It says Blackburn has has demonstrated a pattern of unprofessional and erratic behavior that raises significant concerns. Blackburn has repeatedly referenced unrelated cases involving other clients, often in an attempt to intimidate or distract from the issues at hand. In several communications, Blackburn has engaged in name-dropping celebrities, seemingly to bolster his own credibility and to exert undue pressure. Most troubling, however, are the numerous emails sent well after business hours, which are characterized by a bizarre stream of consciousness style, contain vague, threatening language following the unsuccessful shakedown by way March 23rd of 2025 letter seeking compensation for songwriting and performing. On April the 21st of 2025, Blackburn sent a second letter reasserting Dixon's demands for payment. This time, however, Blackburn added outrageous false allegations of misconduct, including reported or purported violations of the Trafficking Victims Protection Act for alleged acts of forced labor and coercive trafficking. Now, this seems to be... Let me be careful about the words I'm about to use. Hold on. This came up in court on the Diddy trial where Tyrone Blackburn was representing one of the Cassie's friend. I forget her name. I'm sure y'all who are watching the trial will remember her name. Hey, what's up, Quintessential? But it seems like that is his pattern where he sends multiple demand letters. And it looks like he did the same thing in this case where he sent a demand letter and he kept sending demand letters. And like Pam said, sending a demand letter is not, I mean, that's what they do. They send these demand letters, but to send multiple, yeah, I think that's who it was, Lovely Nola and DB. But to send multiple letters is where it becomes interesting. I'm going to say that. Interesting. Despite Dixon's claim lacking any basis, Blackburn threatened to immediately file an already drafted complaint premised on Dixon's false allegations of forced labor and trafficking if Joe did not accede to Dixon's demands by April the 25th of 2025. This demand gave Joe a 4-day window before Dixon would go public with his false allegations. Hell, it sounded like he had already gone public. On April the 23rd of 2025, Joe's counsel spoke to Blackburn to discuss Dixon's allegations and to ascertain why Blackburn threatened to call Homeland Security. Oh, I skipped that paragraph. My bad, y'all. Hold on. Let me go back. On April the 22nd, Blackburn sent an email to Joe's counsel, bizarrely threatening to report Joe to home. Oh, you trying to get him deported? To Homeland Security and to file suit without warning. He also claims he had video and other evidence to back up Dixon's claims. Wait, Tyrone Blackburn. Tyrone. Sir, are you trying to get this man deported? Oh, now you... Oh, see, y'all taking this to another level now. You trying to get this man deported? Fat Joe's counsel also asked Blackburn for the video evidence of Dixon's claim, but Blackburn admitted he had never seen some of the video evidence he claims substantiate his client's allegations. So you swear that there's video evidence, but now you're saying you never seen it. That sound like and doesn't that sound like what Busby said? Joe is from the Bronx. His family is from Puerto Rico, but I think Fat Joe was born in the United States. And you're right. Even if his family was born in Puerto Rico, it's part of the United States, you idiots. Not y'all. You know I'm talking to Blackburn and this Dixon guy. Even if Fat Joe was born in Puerto Rico, it is fucking part of the United States. Where you deporting him to? The United States? The hell? Y'all, this is crazy as hell. Oh, God. On April the 25th of 2025, Blackburn sent Joe's counsel a third letter containing even more vile and false allegations against Joe and demanding that Joe pay Dixon a settlement payment I know that don't say $20 million. I know that does not say 20 million. That I can't. Mm-mm. 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 That cannot say $20 million. Sir, T- Tyrone. I'm gonna just call you Tyrone. Tyrone, I know. So, I know El Teddy about to go live. Hold on, El Teddy. I'll be there. I'll be there in a minute. I'm about to hold on. Hold on. I know that don't say no $20 million. Mm-mm. 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 Hold on. Fat Joe net worth as of 2025. Let's see how much this Fat Joe is according to the Google machine. According to the Google machine, Fat Joe is worth $4 million in 2025. Sir, when was he gonna get 20 million? Let's just assume for a minute he wanted to pay it. What's up, Ray? Where was he gonna get $20 million from? Sir, multiples higher than his previous $2.6 million demand. $2.6 million was a lot more reasonable than 20. Where is Fat Joe getting $20 million from, sir? If Fat Joe failed to exceed the demand the same day, he will also drag in one of his business partners, Market America. So maybe he think Market America is worth $20 million. So let me go through this, and then we're gonna round this up. Blackburn's baseless threats were then repeated in a fury of unhinged emails sent long after close of business. So April the 26th at 9:52 p.m., he sent a letter stating he was going to sue a business affiliated with Joe. April the 27th at 11:36 p.m., he sent a letter refusing to provide names of individuals that Blackburn claims were making allegations against Fat Joe. April the 28th at 11 p.m., he sent a letter refusing to provide evidence and baselessly claiming that Joe's counsel was conflicted. On April the 29th at 12:15 a.m., he sent a letter saying playtime is over. Y'all. Wow. He referenced Shannon Sharp's lawsuit, Tony Busby. He threatened to bring a RICO claim against oh wow. He threatened to file a RICO claim against Fat Joe. Oh my God. Okay, we're done. Okay, that's the end of it. Dixon and Blackburn's unrelenting efforts to humiliate and threaten Joe into extortionate settlement agreement to avoid the painstaking efforts of publicly dispelling Dixon's lies have compelled Fat Joe to file this complaint. And then it goes into all of the different causes of action. But he's suing Tyrone Blackburn and Dixon. Y'all, this crazy as hell. That was crazy as hell. Why are you sending emails at 1:00 in the morning? That's sounding very much like You be dipping and dabbling in party favors. Why you up at 1 o'clock in the morning sending people's emails? Like, even if you were working at 1 o'clock in the morning, you schedule that email to go out at 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock. Working hours. Baby. Y'all, this too much. Okay. We're about to head on over to El Teddy's house. That is the latest. I'm going to have to start calling this my Law and Order all these lawsuits, we're going to start calling it the Law and Order title. I'm going to title it Law and Order because this is crazy as hell. This is so crazy. I'm going to start calling this the Law and Order segment. This is Tyrone Blackburn, you might want to slow your roll, bro, because you slow down. Because you're moving way too fast. This is crazy, y'all. I mean, what do y'all think? Do y'all think he has a smoking gun against Fat Joe? At this point, I don't think he had nothing. I think he thought he was going to scare Fat Joe into admitting something. And when Fat Joe ignored him or wouldn't send him some money, then I think he just kept going and going and going and going. I don't think he has videotape or anything like that. Like, I really don't think he has anything. I mean, I could be wrong. But I don't think he has anything. What y'all think? Crazy as hell. This is y'all. I don't even know what to say. I am so flabbergasted by this Fat Joe lawsuit. It's crazy as hell to me. I thought the Wendy Williams one was gonna have me flabbergasted, but baby, this one right here got me feeling all kinds of some kind of ways. All kinds of some kind of ways. Tyrone Blackburn, sir, your name is coming up in all the wrong ways. Y'all know he up there in New York at the trial, or at least he was. I don't know if he's still there now, but he was up there at the trial. You might need to get back to your office, Tyrone, because you sound like you got some stuff going on with you. You might need to get back home, sir. You might need to get back home because you sound like you got a lot going on. You sound like you got a lot going on, Tyrone. All right, y'all. 2 things. My birthday wish list is pinned. Again, nobody is obligated to give me anything for my birthday, but if you would like to give me something for my birthday, it is pinned at the top of the page. Also, it's that time of year. Avon, you can I have the link there. You can get your skin so soft. You see the link to get your skin so soft. It is that time of year. It is that time of year for us to start, getting our stuff together. Y'all know I don't necessarily sell Avon anymore, but you can get the price there. Also, they also sell Avon on the TikTok shop. So if you have a discount through the TikTok shop or anything like that, they sell Skin So Soft through the TikTok shop. And I believe it's actually in the stores now. Okay. Yeah, that's what I think I'm gonna do, Tracy. I'm about to edit this and just make this a whole different. It's gonna be 2 different videos. All right, y'all. We're about to head over to El Teddy's house, you guys. Thank y'all for being here. Meet me on the other channel in about 2 hours to talk about the Real Housewives of Miami. Baby, it's too much. And I will talk to y'all later. Mwah. Peace. Thanks again, Tracy, as always. Appreciate y'all.